Welcome back, Rich Minds. It's your boy RHENO coming back to you with another video. And today's topic is gonna be how you know God is protecting you. Yes, sir. Let me say it louder for the people in the back. Listen, y'all. This video is based upon all the signs and reasons of how you know that God is protecting you. Now, before I move forward, I need you to manifest this, affirm this, and confirm this over your life. Yes, sir. Listen, drop this in the comments and say, God is protecting me. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments and say, God is protecting me. I want you to understand and realize something. God will not allow you to drown in this water. Yes, sir. God will not allow you to drown in your problems. Yes, sir. And God won't leave you in your hardship. I want you to understand something. God is always there. Even when he don't feel like he's there, even when he don't feel like he's not hearing you, even though it feel like your prayers are not going no higher than your head. Yes, sir. I want you to understand something. God is always there. So I had to start this video off, y'all, by letting you know, because if you click this video and if you're watching it, chances are you felt like, man, like I believe in God, but where he at though? Yes, sir, man. I'm going through this hardship. I'm going through these calamities. Man, what God at though? Like you waiting and searching for the hand of God to come out the sky. But I want you to understand something. I came to deliver a message directly to you. God is protecting you. All right, so don't take that lightly, y'all. So with that being said, y'all already know how we do. Listen, if any one of these reasons, signs resonate with you, y'all be sure to leave a thumbs up on this video as well as subscribe to the channel. Yes, sir. Not only that, but make sure you drop in the comments and say God is protecting me. All right, so the first reason is going to be this, y'all. God is removing all those who do not mean you well. Yes, sir. Let me say that one more time, louder for the people in the back. Understand this, y'all. See, God has a funny way of doing things. All right. Sometimes the people that you love, sometimes the people that you feel is so cool, right? Sometimes the people who once cared about you or possibly care about you currently, sometimes he will remove them people because he see things that you don't see. Yes, sir. He heard things that you couldn't hear. Understand this, y'all. God is protecting you. See, when I was in college, right, and I got a lot of college stories, y'all, but when I was in college, I met a guy by the name of Rob, right? I met a guy by the name of Rob. And so he was from Alabama. I never forget, man. You know, I'm coming from Douglas, Georgia, my little small town. And I met him in orientation, right? And at this particular time, you know, the first thing I said when I seen him, this is how you know your first mind is always right. But the first thing I said when I seen him was, that's not a guy who I hang out with, right? But coming from where I came from, it was something that was comfortable or something that I felt like I connected with by being and hanging out with this guy, okay? And mind you, I'm coming from a small country town to a city, so I'm not saying I'm looking for friends, but if y'all never moved anywhere by yourselves, I'm not gonna lie, y'all. You're gonna want that type of, you're gonna want a sense of comfortability or just finding some type of friend, some type of companionship. That's just a natural human thing, right? And so we clicked, okay? I ain't gonna lie. Me and Rob, we clicked off the rip, clicked off the bat, okay? And so we hanging with each other. And I think it's like, you know, the first maybe a month that we hung out with each other, I had already been noticing flags. But it wasn't like nothing that just straight up disrespecting me. It was just like, you know, we come from different eras. Well, not different eras, but we come from different cultures. Like, I believe this, you believe that, but we ain't disrespecting one another. You see what I'm saying? So I'm hanging out with Rob. Cool dude, okay? It was one thing that happened that made me step away, and then the other thing that really confirmed it. So before I get into the confirmation of it, I'm gonna let y'all know exactly what happened. So it was one day, y'all, this is when Atlanta had the underground. All right, we went to the underground and it was like really dying down. Honestly, it really wasn't too much there. And so we went to 5 Points, Atlanta. We walking around and we was going to pick up his sister. His sister came from I think Alabama too, right? We was she was coming up to stay with him in his student housing. All right. Anybody going to college or anybody who been to college, y'all already know. We got RAs and ROCs. You are not supposed to have people staying in your dorm room. All right. Whole nother story, y'all, because I did it too. But anyway, We was going to pick up his sister, and we ended up picking her up, went to McDonald's, we kicking it, right, having a good time. We go get a haircut, all right, at West End. We come back to we're heading back to my crib and Dunwoody. Okay, so it's me, his sister, and Rob, right? We go to West End train station, and I'm trying to do everything right? Like I'm trying to, go in my wallet and pay for a trip, okay? Pay for a trip to get back to my crib. They're like, man, Reno, man, it's taking too long, man, come on. I'm like, man, how long, bro? I'm finna pay for it. They're like, man, you tripping, man, come on, man. Go ahead and come through, bro. It's open, bro, come in, right? Peer pressure like a mug, right? So I'm like, man, all right, bro, dang. Okay, so I go ahead and slide through, okay? Now, mind y'all, paranoia is high because I'm high. Yes, sir, if you understand what I'm saying, I was high. I was high of weed, okay? Not nothing else, but weed. And so I'm already paranoid. So soon as I go through the doors or go through the MARTA doors, y'all know, anybody who rode MARTA in Atlanta, y'all know what I'm talking about, right? As soon as I go through them, we see the MARTA police is behind us. Why did we do that? I'm like, man, so we running. So we done ran around the whole thing because in my mind, I'm thinking that they're chasing us. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm getting chased. So we running. And so we end up being on a whole nother side, right? We end up being on a whole nother side. It's like you got eastbound, westbound, south, and northbound, right? That's how it is on the MARTA station. They end up being on a whole nother side. And so we started off together, but then they end up leaving me. And so right then and there, I said, this ain't the people I need to be hanging out with. I got to cut Rob off. I can't be hanging around with Rob. Rob gonna get me shot, killed, sent back home, right? Because this is like, I haven't even been in college for like 3 months yet, right? So I'm like, man, I done came up here about to mess up my whole career, right? Not following, but hanging out with the wrong crowd, okay? And so that was the first time I had to realize. I realized that I'm hanging out with the wrong crowd. I'm bucking. That's what we called it. I'm bucking the MARTA system, stealing rides, basically, when I knew I had the money to pay, but I just did it because it was open. And then the paranoia is high, so I'm thinking that some people chasing me. Now, here's the kicker, y'all. Nobody was chasing us. That's how high we was. Nobody was chasing us, okay? They just happened to be right there. But the problem for me was, we all came together. And the fact that they left me while we was running showed that wasn't really my friend. Yes, sir. But see, understand this though. God was protecting me because 2, 3, maybe 5 months later, Rob ended up going to prison for being a part of an attempted murder. Look at that. Rob ended up being a part of attempted murder, right? Now, he didn't do the murder, okay, but he was a part of the murder, right? But so that was my confirmation saying that, man, you weren't supposed to be hanging out with no Rob. Yes, sir. Now, listen, y'all. I know it's somebody hanging out with a Rob right now. Yes, sir. It's somebody hanging out with somebody who don't mean them no well. Yes, sir. And it's somebody who hanging out with people who don't need to be around them. But I want you to understand something. God is protecting you. He going to put you in a position so you can see. He going to open up your eyes, right? Because they cannot do no harm unto you. Yes, sir. It says, touch not my anointing. They can't do no harm unto you. So understand and realize that, y'all. All right. So I had to go ahead and give y'all that. So that was the first sign of how I knew, okay, that God was protecting me. Second sign is going to be this, y'all. He keeps you 2 steps ahead of your enemies. Yes, sir. Let me say that one more time. That's very prevalent, all right? And that's not irrelevant. It's very relevant. Understand this, y'all. He keeps you 2 steps ahead of all your enemies. Yes, sir. Understand this, y'all. One of the greatest men who ever walked the earth, one of the wisest, right, and smartest kings who ever roamed the earth, King Solomon. Did y'all know that God gave a warning to King Solomon? He warned him about idolatry. He warned Solomon about, the women that was coming into his life. He warned them, right? So he put him 2 steps ahead of his enemies. He told Solomon, look, these women are going to turn you against your God, which is me. They're going to turn you against, your God. They serve other gods. They are heavily into idolatry, right? But see, King Solomon was like, man, look, he didn't feel like he knew everything, but those women was attractive. Yes, sir, he warned him about foreign women. He warned Solomon about foreign women. And so with that being said, y'all, he did it anyway. Warning comes before destruction. Okay, somebody drop in the comments and say, warning comes before destruction. Yes, sir. See, God is protecting you though, and he won't allow them to bring no harm onto you. Yes, sir. God will not allow none of your enemies, nobody who don't like you, and anybody who has it out for you, he won't allow them to bring no harm unto you. Why? Because God is protecting you. Okay, so you are not alone, even when you feel alone. Okay, God has not forsaken you. Yes, sir. You better see what he did with Jesus. He has not forsaken you, but I want you to understand something. It's going to be some people that's coming into your life trying to throw you off focus, trying to distract you, all right, and keep you from what God has for you. Yes, sir, but I want you to realize something. God is protecting you, all right? So as y'all understand this, even though King Solomon got thrown off sidetrack, okay, and those foreign women, right, made him turn against his own God, for the meantime, he still came back and wrote the book of Proverbs. He still was able to be used by God, right? Because he's a human and he made a mistake. But what I'm simply saying is God had already put him 2 steps ahead of his enemies. Yes, sir. God already put him 2 steps ahead, right? But see, it's up to you to take heed. Somebody drop in the comments and say, take heed. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments and say, take heed. I want you to realize and understand something. God is protecting you, and they will not be able to bring no harm unto you. Number 3, it's going to be this, y'all. You've been delivered, okay? You have been delivered, all right? Understand this, y'all. You probably made it through that addiction, right? You was addicted to crack cocaine. Yes, sir. You was addicted to weed. I don't know what your addiction was, but understand this, y'all. God has brought you through it and he's delivered you from it. Maybe you was within homosexuality, okay? And we know what the Bible says about homosexuality, all right? It is an abomination. No sin is greater than the other. So I'm not just picking at nobody, all right? But I'm just speaking of real. No sin is greater than the other. However, maybe you've been delivered from homosexuality. Yes, sir, male or female. Male or female, all right? I don't know. Maybe you was working for the devil. You know what I'm saying? Like, putting out just certain type of energy, things that are demeaning people, things that are killing people, not even literally, but just killing their spirit. All right. This is why when you speak life into people, you're working for God. Yes, sir. When you speak life into people, you're keeping someone alive. All right. Understand that. And so when you're working with the devil came to kill, steal, and do what, y'all? Destroy. Okay, the devil came to kill, steal, and destroy. So if he came to do that, then how can you be working for God? No, you're working for the devil. But guess what? I got news for you. God is protecting you. Why? Because he's delivered you. Okay, he put you through that process, and then you start to see progress, and then you actually achieve success. All right, understand that God has delivered you for whatever was holding you back and holding you down. Like I told y'all, and y'all make sure y'all drop this in the comments. Your enemies or anybody will not be able to cause harm unto you. Yes, sir. Drop in the comments and say they can't cause harm unto me. All right? They can't cause harm unto you because God is protecting you. That's the way it is. That's the way it's going to stay as long as you remain your faith. All right? And so number 4, y'all, is going to be this. It's going to be a real big one, y'all. You are a survivor. Yes, sir. You are a survivor. Now, see, being a survivor and being delivered is going to get a little tricky now. So I want y'all to stay tuned in so I can differentiate the two. All right. Now, when you have been delivered, this is the finished product. Okay. You've been delivered. You've been saved. All right. You've been delivered. You got through that situation. Okay. You've been delivered. You understand what it means to be this particular way. But now you also have seen the other light on the outside. And now you can give your story to somebody else. Okay. But understand this right here, y'all. See, when you are a survivor, it's very, very similar. But when you are a survivor, you survive the situation. All right. You probably haven't been saved yet. Yes, sir. You see the difference? You probably haven't, crossed over to the other side yet. But guess what? You survived the situation, and now you can motivate somebody with your story. All right. See, when you've been delivered, okay, you have been saved. You know what I'm saying? God is in your life, right? But when you are a survivor, maybe you haven't saved yourself yet. Maybe you haven't got saved yet. But see, when you are a survivor, understand this. You just got that experience. Yes, sir. You got that story. You got that testimony. All right, you got that testimony. God's still working on you. But see, you're able to tell somebody else your story. Y'all know something, y'all? I want to tell you this. Faith that hasn't been tested can't be trusted. Yes, sir. Faith that hasn't been tested cannot be trusted. So understand this. When you are a survivor, understand you had faith and your faith has been tested. So guess what? You can be trusted. I know I'm talking to somebody right now. You can be trusted. God can trust you. You are a survivor. Understand this, y'all. I had a friend, right? I ain't gonna say his name on here, but I had a friend, okay? And one of my guys, from my hometown, he ended up, going to prison for having a possession of a firearm, possession of intent to sell, stuff like that, right? And he went to prison. He had got caught with it like 2 times. Third time, they said, all right, man, you got to go do 2 years, right? So I think he did 2 years in the penitentiary. And, one thing I talked to him about, I said, man, how was it, man? What was the experience like? He said, bro, I seen my first day in, I seen somebody get stabbed. I don't know if they died or not, but I seen somebody get shanked. He said, I went in my cell, closed the door. I went in my cell and closed the door. All right, but guess what? He went through, being in the cell with rats and roaches, right? He been through, not eating sometimes. He been through that certain situation to where, it was hell, literally, okay? So understand this, a person playing with your time and your freedom. And he did that for 2 years, right? Understand this, he was a survivor. Yes, sir, he could have been killed in prison. All right, he could have, given up in prison. He could have lost his mind in prison, but he survived and he can tell the story, right? Now, my man ain't saved, but guess what? He survived, right? And since he survived, he can teach and tell the next young brother that, hey, bro, that ain't what you want to do right there. Hey, bro, that's not what you want right there, right? So understand what it means to be a survivor, okay? And you are a survivor. God was protecting my man. Yes, sir, just like God is protecting you. Say it one time with me, y'all. They can't cause harm unto you, okay? They can't cause harm unto God's chosen, and you chosen, all right? And so the last sign is going to be this, y'all. Number 5, God is preserving your soul. Yes, sir. Let me say that one more time, louder for the people in the back. God is preserving your soul. So realize this, y'all. I'm going to get directly into it. I'm going to give y'all my story a little bit, right? For y'all who don't know, I used to do music, okay? And some of the music I was creating was, I'm going to just be honest, y'all, it was club banger music. Club banging music, you know what I'm saying? Profane language, all that. Did I make great music? Absolutely. But it was club banging music. And some music, one could say that, hey man, you were working for the devil at one point. One can say that if you really want to get spiritually deep, right? Although I knew my intentions, but see, sometimes just because we have good intentions doesn't mean that the devil's still not working through, right? Working through your naivete or working through your prayer intentions, right? So understand this. Once I realized, like, oh, hold on, I understand the type of music I was making. I understand that what this type of music is doing. I understand how detrimental it is to the kids listening to this, okay? This is why you got to be careful of the type of music you listen to, the type of music you allow your kids to listen to, okay? Because the type of music that's being put out, especially nowadays, it's all cursed. Yes, sir. If you listen to the music, it's detrimental to the mind. It's counterproductive. All right. And so when I understood I was creating that type of music, although it had positive messages in it, and although it had, it wasn't just straight, just demonic. But what I'm saying is, I said, you know what? I want to take a different route. But guess who said that? It wasn't me. It was God. God said, no, I want you to be a motivational speaker. Okay. And then as I transition you to a motivational speaker, I want you to also implement my word in your motivation. Yes, sir. Y'all drop in the comments and say, I'll follow you, RHENO, if you following me. So God said, you know what? I want to take your gift and I want to utilize it. I want to utilize it a different way. This is why I tell people, y'all, everything that you're gifted at, everything that you are gifted at, doesn't mean that that's your calling. Yes, sir. Everything that you are gifted at, it doesn't mean that that's your calling. All right. And so what I'm simply saying is I was gifted at making music, right? I have a gift for making music. And it's not to say that I'm done making music now, because I got a lot of music. But what I'm saying is God said, you know what? Let me transition, right? And transform that gift into this direction. Okay, and I'm going to exalt you regardless because you never lost the gift. right? Music is nothing but a message, okay? I want to transition the way you give your messages out, all right? Not to say you can't do music no more, son. It ain't to say that, but I want to use you in this way. And so what I feel is, and what I got from that was, God was preserving my soul. Yes, sir, God was preserving my soul. And so I say the same thing to you. God is preserving your soul. He won't allow the enemy to use you, because that's what the enemy wants. The enemy want to use you. Okay? Somebody drop in the comments and say, you can't use me, enemy. Yes, sir. Make sure you drop in the comments and say, you can't use me, enemy. So I want you to understand something. They can't cause no harm unto you. Why? Because God is protecting you. All right. So as I conclude this video, I want y'all to understand that you watching this video for a very, very important reason. Okay. Confirm, affirm, and manifest this over your life. God is protecting you. All right. And understand that they can't cause no harm onto you. Okay, so with that being said, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this video, but I need y'all to do this one thing for me. Check out any one of the links in my description. Check out any one of my books. That's 8 Steps to Self-Publishing, A Successful Book, Rich Mentality, Traumatized by Love, as well as Failure Equal. Also, be sure to check out any one of my memberships. That's my YouTube membership, as well as my Patreon. I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Keep a rich mentality. Peace.